Welcome to Merkaba Chakras, where we talk Buddhism in the fifth dimension.
Welcome to another podcast episode of Merkaba Chakras. I'm your host, Vaughn Galt, and today we learn about the newest energy healing technology from RIFE frequency engineer, Mr. John White. Now, last time, John White and I went over the Spooky2 RIFE generator machine that customers worldwide are using for non-evasive, fast self-healing from parasites, viruses, and many more ailments. So today, we go further into the RIFE Scalar technology and discuss the clinical research from testimonies of clients worldwide and their naturopathic doctors who report fast healing from common conditions such as heart inflammation, nervous system disorders, blood clot symptoms, and many more ailments using Spooky2 RIFE Generator and Scalar. So with that, John, welcome back to Merkaba Chakras. How have you been?
Great. Oh, thank you. No, I've been great, thanks.
Oh, good.
Have you been keeping well?
I have been very, very well. I have been using my RIFE generator since the last interview, and I have some personal ailments to report. Nothing serious, but before we get to that, because I got a lot of reviews and people from the first episode testing out the RIFE generator and then finding different profound fast healing of their ailments. And then now we're going to go further into scalar. So I'm really interested in going into that with you. But before we get into that, just a quick little background for people who did not watch the first part of this RIFE review. That's in the show notes. So go into the show description to watch that episode. But a brief background. So inventor of Royal RIFE was born in 1888 in Nebraska, USA. He discovered the ancient healing modalities of frequencies. So all matter in the universe holds its form based on its unique energy signature, including people and diseases. Now, once the host listened to the frequency of the disease, the person was restored. Even the University of Southern California found a 100% recovery within 6 months on their cancer patients who used RIFE in conjunction to whatever they were doing at the time. Unfortunately, his RIFE healing technology threatened modern medical industry that his work was sabotaged, leaving him penniless, and he died of alcoholism and depression. As an engineer, your grandfather's death inspired you to create RIFE energy healing technology, and Spooky2 was your landmark frequency machine. So the last interview, we did cover RIFE frequencies for detoxing parasites and viruses using the Spooky2 RIFE generated kits. So, John, is there anything else you want to add to the background of how you got into this work and how this technology came about?
Well, I think there's a combination of both family tragedies and formal training that combined to allow Spooky to happen in the first place. The tragedies provided the motivation. My father, he's an electronics engineer extraordinaire. He helped invent radar. So he's very, very clever. He's still with us. And he sort of grew my interest, or helped grow my interest in all things technical and wonderful. So yeah, I owe kudos to him as well. But yeah, that and a large helping of stubbornness, because through every venture there are going to be setbacks. and you've got to overcome them, pick yourself up, and continue on. The difference between a winner and a loser is winners pick themselves up one more time. And I had setbacks. And even now that Spooky2 is very large and very it's well established, it's the largest RIFE machine manufacturer in the world, we get a great opposition from other manufacturers who wish us not exactly the best. And so it's a continual fight. It's unfortunate because really you should be working together and finding, solutions for health, or solution for illness, I should say. Striving for health. And our company doesn't really mix in well with the other companies who are focused on making things a business model. No, illness is not a business model. Illness is something that shouldn't be tolerated. And so we don't sort of talk the same language as other manufacturers. But no, it's what you've summarized is pretty much how Spooky2 started, but a bit of other things as well that sort of make it all work together. The realization from the very beginning that we can't do it alone. We need the support of many other researchers to collaborate with us. And so we do. We don't have a solid brick wall where we are the authorities, our machine is this and this is what you do. We work in with people, find the best, and then we produce the best.
Yeah.
So,
well, that is the ideal business model. So the other one is a monopoly where you basically squash out your competition, and without competition, without various perspectives on things, you really don't get ingenuity and you don't get creativity. So because everybody's basically talking the same talk and they're in the same echo chamber. So so it's kind of a pro and a con to have discord, but if you can have discord in a polite and respectful manner, and then present the material and let the work and the result speak for itself, that's the ideal and best approach. When it comes to business, and I work in the business world as well, when it comes to business, it's very easy to get a little greedy and let that competition get a little greedy, get your ego in the way. And when you go down that road, you basically go down to losing focus of the customer. You go down to mergers and acquisitions. You go down to breaking down companies into smaller parts, and then those companies break up, and then they get sold into a discount, and the whole product is basically just lost. The foundations are lost. It's all broken up into pieces, and it's really hard to bring it back to the fold. So I've seen this happen. This is a very, in my perspective, a very immature, unspiritually evolved way of running businesses, and lower frequency individuals who are not very highly evolved spiritually will run businesses like that. They're almost kind of like vultures in the business world, but that's the model, and it's time and time again has broken apart very good products, very good customer bases, very good industries, just from going that path. So if I can express anything as a customer myself and as somebody who has evaluated lots of energy healing modalities, I always recommend staying away from that vulture pathway of business. So now I want to be clear, energy healing modalities are a supplement, such as meditation, Qigong, yoga, to modern medicine. So many people choose to combine both strategies for fast healing and maintenance. So let's look at some testimonies of a client who used it for recurring parasites, which medications and store-bought detoxing did not work on her as well. But when she applied RIFE, it started working, and she made a testimonial
So I have suffered about 8 months with parasites prior to trying the Spooky XM generator. I took all available medications repeatedly, and I had cleansed a lot of tapeworms and few other parasites along with eggs and mucoid plaque, but they all kept coming back. So I had a friend who owned XM generator and suggested to try it, so that's what I did. I did not run any detox, no terrain detox or even biofeedback, because I had no idea how to use the machine. My first idea was only try to get rid of these bugs. So I found programs for detox parasites, intestinal detox, and ropeworms, and general detox. So I must say, at the beginning of my treatment 1 year ago, I expelled huge worms curled up like golf balls and causing very much pain. They were in my body for decades and caused so much health problems. At the time I started using Pooky, I was actually fighting different stages of parasites for 8 months already. So the first thing I did is I ran the program for intestinal parasites and used the tin spats and placing them on my abdomen, left and right, under my liver and my spleen. So I felt some needles and a little bit of contractions, I felt the frequencies. It was new for me. I thought it's normal, but it was not so unpleasant to stop the treatment. So after 2 hours running different programs, I stopped, and in the evening, I started feeling like something is massaging in my colon and my whole abdomen, and really like golf balls moving, but pleasantly. So for me, I thought it's something good. So finally, something is kind of losing inside. And indeed, so next day, I started expelling a lot of stuff. So now, please, if you don't want to see the images and the videos, close your eyes. I will tell you when you can open them up. Thanks. So the worms which you will see in the pictures were actually between 8 and 11 inches, which is about 25 to 30 centimeters. So, and the pot that I was using to go to toilet, it was 30 centimeters in diameter. So 11 inches about. That was a huge stuff coming out of my body. Just unbelievable. Now you can open your eyes again. Thank you. So this went on for about 2 weeks, and every day I have expelled and cleaned up a lot of worms and eggs and mucoid plaque and dirt. So I kept running the programs every day, couple of hours, all kind of detox programs. And after 2 months, I started to see a clean stool and color changed and less aches. And yes, the process went on a long time. And then it was well for about 2 weeks or 3. Then I didn't do anything. And actually, these bugs started to come again. But I quickly started to run the programs again. And yeah, I think right now I'm in a good point, quite clean. And actually, the reason why I bought my own Spooky was because I saw it works. And not only with worms and mucoid plague, but with herpes and shingles issues and many other things. So, which I'm going to share in another videos. I think it is worth to buy Spooky. My budget was not too big, so I bought the XM generator, the very basic one with the remote and Smoky Pulse, which is just enough for me right now. And I'm very happy because I have learned now how to do biofeedbacks. And yes, all the biofeedbacks actually confirmed the worms that I had, gave me names, and I could treat them and target them directly. All the names I could see. And I think that was great success. So thank you, Spooky, for having this unit available for sale. And yes, I hope this video helps somebody.
I don't want to gross out the audience too much, but you guys can watch her testimony. And the reason why I brought this up was the last episode, which you guys watched when I interviewed John White on RIFE. We were talking about this generator that you're seeing on the screen that is being reviewed. And we were talking about how you can apply the RIFE frequencies to fast accelerate healing for parasites and viruses. And then this testimony came out about specifically parasites. Now, what I also have on screen here is I've been using the RIFE generator on myself. And the thing with me, John, is that I've had the RIFE generator since the last time I interviewed you on the technology, and no one in my family is sick. We don't have any existing illnesses. We didn't have surgery. We're not on any medication at all. So there really isn't much that we could do, but we did get a cold. So that was the opportunity. We finally got a cold once the school season started. It's October 2022. So we finally got a cold. And so we finally had an opportunity to try the technology on us. So we had gotten the normal cold, and we had the fever for like a day or two. It came and went. My husband and I came and went. The kids had it. They got over it the very next day. And we're completely organic. We never got any kind of inoculations. We don't even get the flu shot. So we're a completely baseline control group. And we went through the fevers, got okay. And then we had this cough, just my husband and I. The kids are fine. But my husband and I have had this cough for 3 weeks. And so I finally decided to start up my RIFE generator, and because I finally had a reason to now. And I had already been taking prescription medication for my cough. My husband has as well. And it wasn't really working. It was still kind of there. It's like a frog is still there. And so I turned on the RIFE generator, and what you guys see on the screen here is when you turn on the RIFE generator, at first, you're going to download the software, and you might have some issues like I did with downloading the software, getting it to run. So I actually had worked with your team with the Facebook group, and I responded there, and they were very responsive. There were people there responding. And then I ended up going to the website because mine was more of a troubleshooting issue. And I submitted a form, and somebody responded very quickly and had me download a software to do remote assistance on my computer. So I did that. But then I also got information from other RIFE members on the forum that said, try this, try this, try that. So then I tried that and it finally worked. So I was like, oh goodness, it got worked. And but I actually got fully involved. I think it's Manifest Destiny. I fully got involved with your staff to get like everything that could have happened to anybody happened to me, which was a perfect example of testing out. It was like the Lord goes, Vaughn, you're going to test out everything. And it's not going to be easy. So I tested out the forum. I tested out the website. I tested out the chat. I tested out the remote troubleshooting on the computer and finally got it set up, and now it works perfect. But when you get it, so bear with people. There is support there. And remember, they're working in China. So wherever you are in the world, there's a time zone difference. So it's really nice to have the forum moderators on Facebook or on the website forum or through the chat or through the website. So there's all these different outlets to get support. And there's all the videos on the channel. So there's a lot of support for those types of issues. But once you get it loaded up, it looks like this. So the first thing on the left is the presets. And these are existing programs that are already set up. So like if you have a cold or if you just want to detox, they already have preset programs. But then you go to the programs tab, which is what we have here, and you can type in anything. So I only had one thing to try out, which was my cold. I don't have anything. I don't have lung cancer. I don't have anything else, just my cold. So I typed in the cold and I picked this version for 2022. And I also brought in an antiparasitic drug. I put those in there. And then I put all the options for coughing. So lingering cough, dry cough, reflex cough, cold and flu. And when you select the program, there's more information that explains what is involved, what explains kind of the medical terminology behind what a dry cough is and what the symptoms are and all that. So let me go to the next image. So I'm going to go over the programs. Once you pick out the programs, then you go to the controls. And this is all turned off right now. But when you're done and you already set everything, you select the generator and you just hit start, and then it will turn green and then it will run. You can hit stop and it'll stop. But as you guys can see on the screen, and for the audio audience, it basically shows the frequencies that's running one at a time for each one of these programs that I have already set. Okay, so pretty simple. And I had that running, and that day, within about 6 hours, I started feeling my sinuses drain, and I was kind of scared a little bit, John. I gotta tell you, I was calling my husband. I was like, and my daughter was feeling it too, and she's 7. I was like, honey, can you hurt yourself by drowning from your sinuses draining? And he's like, no. And he's like, and he was doing a band show. He was doing a concert. And he was like, yeah, I'm feeling that too. What did you do? And he was in a different location. And I said, well, those toenail clippings that I had of you and our daughter and myself, I put those all in its own individual packages. I stuck it into the RIFE generator. I turned on the cold protocol that I set up, that I set up before you left. And then I just recently turned it on a couple hours ago, but we're starting to feel this extreme draining of the sinuses. And I've had loogies, and it didn't really bring up any kind of mucus, but this was the first inkling that, something is happening to me that hasn't happened in 3 weeks. And that was the sinuses were draining, and it almost felt like I was drowning. So I was kind of nervous. I was drinking lots of water to kind of process it down. And it has helped the cough simmer. So my daughter's totally fine within a couple of days. My husband was able to play the show and sing, and he was really nervous about that. And then I'm fine as well. Now, given my husband is he also got antibiotics because his immune system is not as quick as my daughter's and I. And so he got some antibiotics and that helped as well. So we don't really know, if it's just the RIFE, if it's a combination of us doing the cold and flu regimen that we do every year for different things, if it was, how we're taking care of ourselves. But we knew that the minute we turned it on, we all three of us, that no matter the location, felt that draining of the sinuses. So, and that was the only thing that I could recognize that there is a link to. When I press the on button, something different happened that hasn't happened in 3 weeks. So, but let's take a look at some of these programs so that everybody can see, well, what kind of energy healing frequencies can we send for different ailments? So here's some of the programs. So you type in dementia. If that's something that you're working to address, there's frequencies to help fast accelerate dementia. Sjogren's syndrome, spinal cord disease, spinal meningitis. And again, when you select the program, it has a section that explains further the details of the ailment. So if you have gotten a prognosis from your doctor about dementia, for example, and you already know what you're working with, that is really helpful. But if you don't know what you're working with, the summary of the symptoms and the ailments is really helpful as well. And then you can also do a body scan. Is that correct, John? Is there anything else I'm missing there?
No, that's pretty much it. The biofeedback does pick up ones that doctors quite often miss.
Oh, good. Yeah. And the biofeedback is you basically hook it onto yourself. It's not going to shock you. It's just like putting a sticker on yourself. And it just basically gets the information about your body and the frequencies in your body, and it puts it on the computer. And then from there, you take that instruction and you follow the instruction to load up the programs for the specific ailment that it picked up. So here's some other ones. Psoriasis. There's also hydrocortisone. So the cream, if you don't like putting the cream, you can send the frequency of the cream. Shingles, dermatitis. That's another one. Here's some other ones. Eczema. Let me see. There's also some common ailments for quicker energy healing for myocarditis. So if you're suffering symptoms of myocarditis or cardiovascular disease, chest pain, if you had chest pain before or a heart attack before, and you are concerned that you are still working on trying to alleviate that could be something that you can put into your program. Autoimmune neuropathy or Guillain-Barré syndrome, like GBS, kind of like Bell's palsy. If that's something that you are concerned about and you're starting to get those symptoms or are living with those symptoms and have been diagnosed with that, these frequencies are meant to quickly accelerate healing for those symptoms. Nerve disorders and neuropathy. There's a lot of autoimmune disorder choices as well. Okay. Lupus. And there's a couple of different options of lupus as well, and they'll go over the differences. So you can look at that. Liver function balance. So if you have liver issues, that really helps for detoxing. Blood coagulation disorder. So if you get blood clots or you've had those symptoms in the past or you're dealing with blood clots right now, that will help send those healing frequencies to address the blood clot coagulation. Let me see. Nerve disorders, lots of nerve disorders. In terms of the preset programs, they have different modes for killing and for healing. And if you don't know if you need to heal a specific ailment or you need to kill like a parasite, for example, you can do the universal option. And of course, there's a lot of help and information. Once you kind of get used to this, it's really simple. Anybody can figure this out. You could do direct contact or you can choose remotes. I did the remote option, for my husband because he's playing his show in a casino. And so the really interesting thing is when you put your nail clipping into the Spooky generator, the concept is that it will send the energy healing frequency to the DNA signature of the person's that DNA that is in that nail clipping. So anybody in the cosmos that has that DNA signature will get that energy healing frequency. And that's exactly what happened with my husband when I talked to him and he's like, "What did you do?" Because my throat is clearing up and my sinuses keep on draining and it's just nonstop and it hasn't happened in 3 weeks. So that's the remote option. There's a lot of options for psoriasis. And then this is another program I set up for detoxing. Okay. So this one's for my son because my son just got his school vaccinations, a couple of them, and I space them out. I don't do them all at one time. I space them out one at a time so I can just monitor for any kind of flus or colds that come forth afterwards, just kind of monitor and just to make sure that one goes through fine. And so after he did that, I started a detox program to just get rid of heavy metals in his system. So I got his nail clipping and I put it in the generator for that. And I load up this program, which is a detoxing protocol. And then here's what the settings look like. I don't really focus on the settings very much. This is mostly technological. I think it's working. Okay.
Yes, it is, but you don't need to. If you choose a preset, all the parameters get set automatically. So really, this page is not necessary for most people. In fact, Spooky runs in 2 different modes, and you're running using the advanced mode. By default, it's the regular mode, which doesn't even show this page.
Yeah. So the settings don't. If you look at the settings and you're going, "Oh, that sounds like so much work to do," I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Don't focus on the settings. Just get the programs and hit the control button, which is the start button. It's. I'm not really technological. I'm not a spooky guru or anything like that. So I'm just going. I'm the normal consumer. So I know what I'm looking for. I pick the programs. I go to the control. I hit start. I'm good to go, and I forget about it. Let me see. Let's go to some. So here's some of the other detox programs. So I have this running for everybody in my family, my husband, my 2 kids, and myself. So I have the general detoxing program, just a detox overall, because, I'm detoxing any kind of impurities in water, in food, in the air, any kind of impurities that you can come across. I'm trying to detox all of it. So parasites as well. So I'm just detoxing it all. And then I add the Schumann resonance. And this is for the metaphysical people who have, for the most part, really good health, and they just want to continue to live and love in the higher frequencies of consciousness. So they actually have the frequency of 7.83 for the Schumann resonance that they send to you. So you can actually have the Schumann resonance set to your DNA so that you can calibrate with the earth. I also have the 7 chakras to kind of balance their 7 chakras. I have that program running. I have DNA healing. So if there's any DNA that needs healing or just needs a little tune-up, I have that program running. I have emotional balance. So I try not to go too far into the right or the left in terms of emotions and be too far from kind of coming into center. So a nice balanced emotional outlook so that I can make good rational decisions and have a proper reaction to things. So emotional balance is good. And especially for my kids, because they're kind of up and down depending on what cartoon they're watching sometimes. So I love that program. I have dental going on just for good dental health. I have that program. And for my daughter who is skipping brushing her teeth in the morning, and her teeth has started to turn a little bit yellow.
Oh,
I
goodness.
have that running specifically just to kind of offset her. And also I have a detox fluoride. And then I love this one. I have the gamma brainwave frequency, and that's the energy healing frequency of Christ consciousness. It's one of the highest frequencies that the brain can have that we know of so far. And all scientific research in energy healing, when somebody is in the mode of energy healing and self-healing, their brain goes into that high gamma brainwave frequency. And they have already tested this and proven this in meditation studies, that it is that we can measure when healing happens. And also when you are connecting to the super conscious universal one mind, which is source, the Lord, whatever you want to call it, we know it happens in gamma brainwave frequencies. So just for that alone, just for the Schumann resonance and gamma brainwaves and the chakra and kundalini energy healing, just to send those frequencies to your DNA and anybody that you want that wants it as well, that's totally worth it. So I love those programs. I have those running all the time. And then here's how the presets are. Oh, I'm also doing the multivitamin and mineral one for my son because he doesn't like to take his vitamins. And sometimes my daughter doesn't take her vitamins, so I just run the multivitamin protocol for them. So, but yeah, all vitamins have their own frequency. Vitamin C has a frequency, vitamin E has a frequency, every NAC has a frequency, vitamin D has a frequency, quercetin has a frequency, zinc has a frequency. So all those vitamins that keep you healthy and keep your immune system robust that I've been taking for a long time with me, my husband, and trying to get my kids to take some of them. I could just send that frequency to them. So it's just like they're taking it, but they're not taking the vitamins. They're just getting the frequency of the vitamins, which is the same exact thing. So I love that. I love that one. Let me see here. I'm going through, and I think here's another program that's very popular. Besides heart attacks, myocarditis, and blood coagulation, there's also thrombosis. And thrombosis is basically a form of blood clotting as well. So those are the most popular ones that are kind of coming up. And there's a lot of webinars that is being hosted by your team worldwide. And they also put it on the YouTube channel for other people to go to it as well. I didn't put it in here, but there's a huge library of programs for cancer, all kinds of cancer as well. And so that's a really popular webinar as well. And a really proper program that people run is cancer. So, and there's a huge library of testimonials of people who've used this to fast heal cancer ailments. Last time we talked, you were beginning to unveil the scalar energy healing machine. So I just kind of went over and showed everybody the RIFE generator machine, which closes out the last episode. And we were just beginning to talk about scalar in the last episode. And so this episode, I wanted to dedicate deeper into scalar. And so when we were beginning to unveil the scalar energy healing machine, it didn't really have many testimonies yet. It was just coming out, but now there's a whole variety on the website. So we're going to go over some of these testimonials.
This is incredible, the way the Spooky2 Scalar works on this problem. It makes you, the person, much calmer, okay? Things that might normally upset me don't upset me like they were doing before. There's a real difference. And I have used this on about 20 different people now. I have a lot of friends that we're just playing with it to see what's happening. And almost everybody comes back and tells me that they feel calmer, they feel more relaxed, they feel more in tune, if you want to say, with God, more connected spiritually. Almost everyone tells me that. And I can see it in how people act. I can't think of a better tool for people who have this problem with post-traumatic stress disorder. This absolutely works. I have no doubt about that. I had another person that was a diabetic, and he had a heart condition. He has something called atrial fibrillation, where the heart skips a beat. And this is something that you don't clean up. It doesn't go away. Anyway, I had him sit in the scalar field for about 30 minutes. The next day, he went to see his doctor. When the doctor listened to his heart, he could not hear the heart defect. The heart defect appeared to be gone. The doctor ordered more tests. They also tested him, his normal blood sugar test for the diabetes. They just got the paperwork back on that from the doctor, and the doctor said that the guy still has atrial fibrillation, but it is very, very, very minor. He just barely has it, and on the test that they gave him, it just barely showed up. So there's been a dramatic difference from what he had before. And on the diabetes, they came back and they said he is just barely diabetic now. So his blood sugar was just barely over the limit to make you a diabetic. Again, this is incredible because the guy is going blind because of his diabetes. So everybody was quite surprised, and everybody was very happy with that. I have a friend, a lady, who had her uterus removed a year ago. After the operation, she has been in constant pain, severe pain, every day since she had that operation. I didn't know she was in pain. I didn't know that was a problem. She had not complained. But anyway, I let her try this thing, and I ran it for an hour, 5 days in a row. I'm running it Monday through Friday, and I give them half an hour to an hour each time. And anyway, after the first week, that pain went away. And it got so totally under control that she ended up going to Peru for a vacation. I sent her the frequencies while she was in Peru and the scalar waves while she was in Peru. She came back, and at Christmas time, I stopped sending out frequencies. I wanted to give everybody a rest. The pain came back after 2 weeks, but as soon as I got her fingernails and started sending the frequencies to her again, the pain has gone away. So she's still got a problem, but she doesn't have to take pain medication. I will keep running this, I think we can clear it up.
Hi, I'm Charlie Blanchard. I've been using the Spooky Scalar for a couple of months now, and I'd like to let you know some of the things that I've noticed as a result. First off, I'm getting better sleep. I'm sleeping throughout the night and deeper. My dreams are less chaotic, and I'm tending to remember them a little better during the day. I have more overall energy and a better quality of energy. I don't know, that's kind of weird. And I'm able to think a little bit better. It just seems like I'm more clear-headed. Moodiness, much fewer ups and downs, much less cycling of moods during the day. And I have multiple myeloma. It's a form of bone marrow cancer. And I've been being treated for it for a little over 2 years now, chemo. And there's a lot of pain associated with it. And after using the scalar for really a short while, a lot of the residual pain and achiness in my bones, deep in the marrow of my bones, has just gone away. It's remarkable. And then a month after I was using the scalar, I met with my oncologist and got the latest results of the blood from the markers, and the markers are improving, which is not supposed to happen because multiple myeloma is fatal as far as the Western medicine is concerned, and my oncologist is really surprised at the results I'm having. So, since I'm not really doing anything different than adding scalar therapy to my regimen, I can't blame anything else for my blood markers coming down and apparently getting better. These are a few of the things that I've noticed after starting to use scalar. There's more, but that's enough for this video.
So I have been using Spooky for a while now, and I'm using it on my animals too. And here my little pony is sick. He has some colics, and he used to do that. And today I have put Spooky with the medication, and then you have here, and I have put it with the Schumann waves with a generator, and we'll see what will happen. But I already used it for him when he had another big inflammations, and it worked in about 2 hours. It was completely different. So I will come back to see what happens with this little pony. Of course, if it doesn't go better, I will call very quickly the vet. But let's see for a while. Oh, I have adjusted because as he's lying down, I prefer him to have it right. But you can see that he's already up, and we'll see in about 10 minutes. Okay, that makes about 10 minutes. He just woke up, and we put some water with some special, but he's looking, he doesn't eat now, but he seems better. Let's see. So as he's up, I will put the stuff up again. You can see that. So I adapt it as he stand up, and the boss too. And now he's beginning to eat, so it might be better. Really, he's still with the Spooky, and I will let him like that for a few more hours. And there he is. Yes, he's looking so great. So he's fine now. I'm so happy. Hey, Coco. And he's eating. So I am very glad because he's fine after 1 hour of Spooky. So really, it's a good experience. And I already made that with this pony when he had a very bad inflammation on the feet. And instead of this product, which is for colics, I had put this product, Metacam. And it really worked very quickly too. It didn't take 2 hours, but a little more. But the pony was fine too. And now you see how he is eating, so it's fine. I will let him like that for a few more hours, so I am sure it will be great. And just to explain, I made exactly the same for my hands. A few months ago, I had a few hands, and they were sick, and here now they are big. But this little white one, they were sick. I will show you the video, but I don't have when I put the spooky because I didn't film at this time. But they were completely sick, and everybody told me that they were die. And after a few days of spooky, they were just great. And now you see they are all here. So that's my experience with the spooky for animals. So it's a very special one that other horses. So I am really thank you, Spooky. Thank you for everything, because it's really a great product, and I am using it every day. So it was a hen with a shaking head, and she was not eating for a few days, and she was always like that, quiet and shaking the head all the time, and everybody told me that she was going to die. And what did I do? I just used the spooky, and then after a few days she was just great, and she began to eat, and now they are still living and in a very good shape. So really thank you Spooky for everything. I am using it for all my family, friends, and for the animals. Thank you.
Okay, and that was the testimony of Charlie Blanchard, who's going through cancer treatment, and that was his energy healing testimony from using the scalar technology. So the scalar technology, I mean, when people use it, John, do they choose the program just like they do with the RIFE, or do they just turn it on and it just sends out the energy?
There's different ways of using Spooky Scalar. Scalar is a natural field, so just scalar by itself will be healing. It allows the body to self-heal. But you can connect, if you like, a generator to your scalar unit and apply frequencies using RIFE type technology. You can also put a substance on the receiver coil. It can be a healing type substance, and the information of that substance goes to the scalar field.
Okay, it's good to know. So what I have on the screen is I'm actually on the website, which is spooky2scalar.com, and this is the equipment. Oh, and John has it right there too.
I do. I was going to get the transmitter box. There's two of these units here. They open up. And the lids become the antennae, the transmitting aerial, if you like. You can see inside there what the unit looks like. And that circle is where you can put a substance, actually on the receiver coil though, on it's the other side. And these two boxes just connect up with a single piece of wire. You turn it on and away you go.
Yeah. So what's the frequency it sends out? Is it sending just the same high frequency to everybody?
The scalar field is actually a static field. It isn't a frequency as such. It's a mind shift to understand what scalar fields are. It's not so much a frequency field so much as an information field. Information of substances and for healing is introduced into that field from these scalar devices.
Right. Okay, so before we go underneath the hood and talk a little bit more about the technology behind the scalar field, let me also share really quick some of the different diseases that you guys have tried applying scalar waves to. So here is the list of diseases that these energy frequencies have been targeting. And so on the website, scalarreviews.com, you can browse by disease. Like I said, cancer is the top one, but there's also mood disorders, and especially in the West, there is a lot of mental health issues that are becoming more prevalent, and people are speaking about it finally. It's not so taboo. And so first thing is you speak about it, then you find the solution. But you can browse by disease. It's all alphabetical. There's breast cancer, anxiety, a regular cold, depression, fatigue, kidney function, organ function. It just, the list goes on and on and on. And as more and more time goes by, this list of diseases and the videos and the reviews continue to grow as well. Is there anything that you want us to look at on the website before I close it out, John?
No, it's we've got the videos and people sort of explaining just how Scalar has improved their health. Scalar is great because it's very simple to use. You don't have any software that you have to run.
Yeah. You
connect
just
the
plug it in and turn it
stuff.
on? Is that what you do? You just plug it in, turn it on?
Pretty much. You do a quick
Oh, that's
tuning of the
easy.
knob, and there's a light that comes up, and you tune it to the first brightest light. Once you've got the scalar field established, that's when the magic begins.
Oh, that's even easier than the RIFE generator.
It
The
is
RIFE,
easier than the RIFE generator.
yeah, the RIFE generator, you had to download the software, which was easy. And then once you get it set up, then you select the programs that you want to run, and then it's if you want to get geeky about it and you want to see which frequencies are attached to whatever symptom that is sending the frequency to try to address, the RIFE generator will kind of list it all out and kind of run through it like I showed you guys. But you're saying the scalar is even easier. There is no software to set up. You basically plug it in and turn it on, and it sends the same frequency to everybody for overall wellness. So whatever they're dealing with.
Okay, well, it's not a frequency, it's a field. It's a static field.
Okay.
It's like a soap bubble. Soap bubbles aren't moving, but they are there. And you can have things inside that soap bubble, which is what the scalar field is. So you turn the units on and you tune them to become in tune. So they're happily, the soap bubble, if you like, is formed between the two lids. And anything between those lids is bathing in healthful scalar field.
Okay. Yeah, so Nikola Tesla spoke a lot about scalar fields, and he was talking about setting up a scalar field in his hometown. He had erected this huge tower, and he was going to send scalar fields out to the ethers just to send energy healing to everybody in the proximity of these fields. And of course, we've all heard the stories about Tesla, all his work got squashed and sabotaged and hidden and buried and whatnot. But he had came across scalar fields as well. And what your company has been able to do is replicate the scalar technology in those two boxes that consumers can buy and just turn on. So these are really fabulous results, John. So let's look underneath the hood and understand how the energy healing works a little bit further. So first, to establish the basis of energy healing, because for some people, this is like brand new, so they don't understand it. If they don't understand it, they don't know how to wrap their head around it. So humans, I'm just giving some background for new people to energy healing. Humans, as all sentient beings, have a physical body which hold the spiritual consciousness of the being, which many call a soul. Okay, so these are our avatars, and the soul is what powers up the person. That soul is a fractal expression of the creator, God, source, Allah, whatever you want to call it. So we are all, in Buddhism, we know this, but even in science, they know this as well. Every single person is a fractal expression of the same one energy source. So your soul, or the plasma being, the essence, the life force, whatever you want to call it, that is a split of the whole, and it's coming in and having an individual experience for whatever the reasons it intends. So in Eastern philosophy, we call this energy that connects the fractal expressions of source, you, me, everybody else, we call it prana or chi. Okay, so some may even refer to it as the Holy Ghost or the Spirit. Okay, so in Eastern energy medicine, illness first manifests in the human aura field. Your aura field, your Merkaba, your mandala, that bubble of energy around your body that they've already shown scientifically everybody has. It first manifests in there. And then they will usually they will show up to 7 chakras within the energy field. So whatever your issues are that you're dealing with, it would typically show up in your chakras. Okay, that's why we have all these chakras. So if you have heart issues, it would typically show up in the chakra that deals with the heart. If you have brain issues, it would typically show up in the chakra around where your brain is. And so that's the basis of Eastern energy healing and understanding how ailments manifest from the aura into the physical body. So each of these chakras are its own spinning toroidal fields or vortexes. Okay, they've already proven this in science. I put the links in there if you guys want to geek out to understanding that every chakra is its own black hole or vortex. And they all function together as one huge vortex. The yin and the yang, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to get geeky, it's in the show notes. When one of these chakras are blocked, okay, then ailment starts happening. And if you don't address it on the psychological or the energy level, it starts showing up in the physical body. And then you have the issue. And so in terms of energy healing, in order to help the energy being, which is you manifested in a physical body, address certain ailments, you address the imbalanced energy in that person's aura field by sending the frequency for that issue. And when you send the frequency of healing for the issue, it will change the resonance, it will change the energy field of that person, and then it will manifest in physical outcomes. So, is there something you want to add to that, John? I'm not sure if I'm like if there's any more that you want to add to kind of help people understand the basics of chakras being blocked and what happens to the person's health. But that's the basic idea.
It is the basic idea. Most diseases are caused by blockages, energy blockages. And this is where scalar really comes onto its own, because it does help to open up these blockages and allows your body to self-heal.
Yeah. The scalar energy fields are ancient energy healing technology, and you've seen it in many cultures. It's been documented in pictures in the Giza pyramids and in Egyptian hieroglyphics. You also see it in the Buddhist Thangkas. You'll see it in a lot of art history, where if you study art history like I do in different traditions, you'll see that they do depict energy healing modalities and energy healing in their pictures. And so this is not woo-woo, this is actual science. We are energy beings, and as energy beings, when we get out of balance, if we don't balance it in our energy, it turns into our physical body. And in order to address the physical body, what you can do is you can cut it out of your body, but if the energy is still there, it's just going to re-manifest over again. So you have to address it also on the energy level, not just the physical level. So that's why oftentimes, even in the East, they use energy healing in addition to anything else that they're doing with regular modern medicine. So we've seen it in, I said, ancient Egyptian art with the client laying down between 2 rods. And I've seen various versions of the same technology in Asia, going back to the Buddhist Lemurian and Atlantean folklores of how to use sound and light frequencies to create things and also to heal the body. The human body is composed of cells, which is composed of atoms. And the form of atoms is made of particles. And these particles are quantum waves, quote, energy waves, okay? So these particles have a positive and negative charge, which creates energy. And the infinite energy within space is directly connected to source itself, or God, universe, whatever you want to call it. Being out of balance with the prana, chi, the God source, whatever you want to call it, creates imbalance as well. So illnesses first show up in the energy body, and then it manifests in the physical body. And therefore, energy healing with frequencies recalibrates the imbalanced energy field of the person, and therefore, the physical manifestation of wellness is shown. So, John, how can scalar energy improve our human energy field? Because it's all about keeping that nice, healthy vibration in our aura field, in our Merkaba. So how can it help?
Well, it does it in several ways. Our cells communicate to each other using a scalar field. It doesn't use purely electrical fields because electrical fields can't travel large distances, but somehow cells up here can communicate with cells down in your lower regions. And it does this through the scalar field. When you're a fetus and you're being formed, it's a scalar field that's making sure that everything is coordinated and the cells go where they're supposed to go. So the scalar field isn't so much an energy field so much as a communication field. And what the scalar field is, what the Spooky2 Scalar is doing is sending information to the cells in your body. It can actually be energizing the ATP, which is the energy portions of your cells. So your cells finally get enough energy to fight disease. Or it might be something like just sending the information of an essential oil, as an example, through your body. So your body gets the benefit of the effects of the essential oil. The scalar field is very natural. It occurs in nature. It's the way that we are. To apply other types of fields is like applying artificial fields. When you want to talk to someone, you want to talk in the same language.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, communication is a little bit more difficult. And this is what the scalar field does to your body. Communicates in the same natural language as the cells of your body. And so the scalar field can unblock your meridians, allow the flow of chi through your body as it should naturally be. And people that have not done anything special with Spooky Scalar, apart from turning it on and tuning it, have found health benefits, enormous health benefits, just from the simple task of allowing their bodies to bathe in this natural scalar field. It's very remarkable, just something so simple and having amazing results.
Yeah. And for people who are, when people are well, they usually don't look for technology or protocols to address their ailments, because they have no ailments until something happens. And so just like for myself, I don't have, in my family, we don't have any ailments to address until we got the cold. And that was the first opportunity and the only opportunity we've come across that we can apply this and test this out for ourselves. But for people like myself who really have no conditions to address, what benefits do they have when they apply the scalar fields? Because I've been applying the RIFE generator and I've enjoyed that for fun. But what can they kind of expect with the scalar fields if they were to use that technology?
Diseases quite often take a long time to manifest. It could well be that you can get sick in 10 years' time for a condition that's starting from a seed right now, Von. So it's important to nip things in the bud. But as you say, what do you do? Because you don't know what conditions you may have in 10 years, 20 years' time. The scalar field doesn't really, you don't have to worry about knowing what's wrong with your body. Your body knows. Your innate body intelligence knows. And what you're doing is providing the tools, the necessary energy that your body needs to get the seed and crush it. Make sure it doesn't grow into a tree within your body, doesn't turn into something very, very serious like a cancer. Diseases often take 10 years more to develop. And during this time, your body is fighting, trying to win the battle. And in the end, sometimes it loses the battle, and it's very sad. It takes some diseases, in fact, most diseases, consider lifestyle, food that you eat. Food that you eat as a child affects your health as an adult. And there's a great span of years between the two. It's very, very important, of tantamount importance, that when you have a car, for example, you don't wait for it to break down before you change the oil. You change the oil regularly. You make sure that the engine has what it needs to keep healthy. It's the same with our bodies. And what our bodies need is energy within the cells. In the modern day world that we cannot avoid now, we're bathed in unhealthy fields from cell phone towers, TV broadcasting stations. All this information is passing through the body, and our body's just getting overwhelmed. It's not getting what it needs, as well as all the things like junk food and nasty water and toothpaste with fluoride, which you touched on before. There's things that you can do, and one of the best things you can do is perhaps set up a scalar device across your bed so that you are sleeping in the scalar field. So that's guaranteeing that every day your body is self-recharging, rejuvenating, and able to fight these nasties that are slowly and secretly trying their best to grow in your body.
Right. One of the things that you brought up that is really good to also notate. So, like myself, and for my family, we do the basic maintenance. I'm not going crazy. I'm not working out like crazy amounts or anything else like that. But we'll do the maintenance. But the thing is that fast forward, everyone can relate to this. That as we age and we get into our senior years, almost everyone, with maybe a couple minor exceptions, almost everyone will be dealing with dementia of some sort. They will be dealing with bone degeneration of some sort, maybe some emotional distress, anxiety as you approach your senior years. So these are common ones that everyone at some point, for the most part, is going to be dealing with. And so if we were using scalar waves just as a full body energy healing modality that's part of our everyday process, and we have it running in our homes, we can get the benefits of just overall good sleep and good health and good skin and all these other things. But fast forward 20, 30, 40 years from now, what can we expect for these senior diseases or these ailments that many people come across in their senior years? I mean, does it reduce dementia? Does it reduce bone degeneration? I mean, what has your research, I know we're not there yet, but what has your research in studying scalar fields and putting into this technology showing you that maybe we can kind of apply in deductive reasoning for the future? Because I'm going to be talking about this 40 years from now going, well, I've been using this for 40 years. And
yes,
this is my testimony.
Yes, we already have reviews of people that have been using it for age-related conditions and found the benefits. What you're suggesting before with regards to using scalar fields, if you're healthy, it's best to start when you're healthy because it maintains that state. If you're sick, if you're back to the analogy of the engine of a car, if the car is already worn out because you haven't been changing the oil, if you then start changing the oil regularly, the engine will just keep being worn out, but it won't actually get worse. A lot of people use the same kind of thinking for their own health. They will not do anything or nothing really big to maintain their good health, but once they're sick, then they'll start a modality or some other treatment
Mm-hmm.
and maintain that sickness. Now,
Yeah.
scalar energy does have the ability of turning back time, but it's not magic. It's best to get in early before the condition gets very bad. Let's say you start scalar field energy therapies when you're in your 20s. Well, that's the ideal time because you're fighting fit, you've got a ton of energy. You'll still have bags of energy, truckloads of energy when you're in your 60s, 70s, and you'll be looking around and wondering why no one else is keeping up with you. It's because you are changing the oil regularly and you're maintaining that health. Now, we've talked about RIFE frequencies, and these are like single notes which are sent out through devices which target certain conditions. But you know, Yvonne, there is a tremendous amount of healing in the sound, as in audio, as in prayer, as in sutras. Scalar can send that directly through the scalar field. We have an accessory for the scalar, which is called scalar harmony. And that it converts audio sound to audio via scalar, which means every cell in your body can be receiving the blessings of God or sacred sutras for healing. Now, the scientific community are still wrapping their minds around how it works, but there's no denying that for true healing, you've got to have intent, but you also need to have this this information. This information can be through RIFE frequencies, but it can also be through sound. Speech can be healing. And speech has got amazing healing abilities. And so you can send speech through scalar harmony. And in its pure, unadulterated form, messages of love, the Ho'oponopono. Sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. The wondrous 4 short sentences that can perform so many miracles in the physical realm. If you send that through the scalar field, you get these miracles within every single cell in your body.
Yeah. You know what? You just touched on a science that is not very well known. And I've written about it in my Buddhist mandalas book as well. But and here's the basic science in what you're saying. And they've already proven this. I'll put those links in the show description as well for people who want to geek out on it. But language, proper language, actually, when you speak the language, or when you like the oldest Hebrew language, not the one that is spoken like now, not the Arabic is spoken right now, but the oldest form. And Sanskrit is, when you speak Sanskrit, the older versions, is much the same. When you speak the language, it has certain frequencies and codes in the language, and it actually creates the intent of what was spoken. So like if you say the word chair in these ancient languages that are properly written, it supposedly creates the energy field of a chair. So when you say these languages, and you can say this with any language now, because if you have the intent, that will override any kind of improper sound frequencies in the language. Like English does not really resonate that well with energy healing. It's kind of wonky. But anyways, this goes into linguistics. But if you have the intent and your heart is pure about it, that energy will kind of override the language. So when you say prayers, when you say good deeds, when you send images, those all are sending out an energy field. And that energy field, if you're trying to send out healing, it's sending out the healing energy field. So that's why when people are saying prayers for wellness for somebody, each one of those prayers they're running like a musical note, and they add on and create the feel for the healing for the person. And that's why they've proven scientifically that when you pray, when you send good thoughts, when you say positive things for somebody's wellness, they heal faster than somebody who doesn't have that. Okay, so and they've already proven this in science. So our language, our intent, the things that we say, the sutras that we use, they have its own frequency. Now, the other thing I wanted to know is you say in the scalar fields, like the sutras and some of the other positive chants that people have, that's already programmed in there. So like the Ho'oponopono Ke'ala, that's programmed in the scalar field.
We have another accessory which you can plug into the Spooky Harmony, and that's got pre-programmed what we consider as the best audios for healing. And yes, Ho'oponopono is there, a beautiful Ho'oponopono was sung by a woman that had was granted a Nobel Prize for her abilities of singing. But she's we include several tracks of hers. As well as other tracks. It's really incredible the results that we've had from people that have been playing this audio. It's a little.
Do you have an example of that? Give a sample of that you can play for us. So you're playing a music or a chant into the scalar machine and then turning it on, and then it's setting the frequency of the chant. Oh, I love that. So for people who are
you can plug in your phone to Spooky Harmony, and you can run any audio that's meaningful for you through that. So it might be, for example, the Lord's Prayer. You can play that through the scalar field. Whatever is meaningful for you will be innate to every cell in your body. What works for you may not work for somebody else. No one likes the same foods.
Yeah.
But everyone loves chocolate. But it's a similar thing. So you can plug in your phone and just simply play back the audio that you love. It might even be your favorite. It might be a song that you find is refreshing and soothing. And this is what your body needs. It's things that you're drawn to are things that are good for you generally.
Yeah. Well, the some of these chants, they've already scientifically proven this, and I'll put the link in the show description for you guys to read that. But the Buddhist chant that's often said in different temples is the Bodhisattva chant from Kuan Yin, the famous female Buddha, and that's the Om Mani Padme Hum. And that chant has different frequencies, and they've already scientifically shown that every one of those words has a different frequency, and they all focus on personal overall wellness and spiritual wellness and health. And so when people were chanting the Om Mani Padme Hum chant, they're basically sending out this frequency of wellness. Same thing with Ho'oponopono Ke'ala. Ho'oponopono Ke'ala is a Hawaiian chant for asking the universe to forgive you for yourself and for manifesting an outcome of physical reality that's not positive and that is full of suffering, because the concept is that your consciousness is creating your outside world, and if your outside world is not positive and it's full of suffering, then you are taking responsibility for creating that and asking for forgiveness. So that's that chant. The Lord's Prayer, that also has a frequency as well. So all these chants have a frequency. That's why many of these traditions, they do it over and over and over again. Even in Hinduism, Vishnu's chants and Brahman's chants have their own frequency for energy healing as well. So a lot of wonderful energy healing chants that have its own frequency in so many different traditions that you can find on YouTube and then play that into the scalar field technology and then have
Yeah.
bask in that field. And does it do anything different to the field when you play your favorite mantra or sutra or song? Does it do anything different to it? Is it
Well, yes, it does. It sends, if your ears were able to pick up scalar sound, whilst you're in the scalar field, you could hear with full purity the audio. But
like
unfortunately,
that?
we can only hear air percussions, which is pretty old-fashioned, really, old school.
Yeah. Well, as we raise our frequency, maybe we'll start hearing the higher pitches. So we'll see. We'll see. But typically what they say is the higher frequencies you don't necessarily hear with your physical ears, but if you close your eyes, you can see the music and you can see the frequency moving and the colors of the frequency, and you can see it in action. And then for some people, you'll see images, it'll bring up images that are healing as well. So let me ask you this. Is there a difference between pure scalar, molecular scalar, or RIFE Scalar? There a difference?
There's, oh, absolutely. It's different ways of sending information into the field. RIFE Scalar is when you connect a RIFE generator, to a Spooky Scalar, and you send a frequency into the field.
Now, John, what's the difference between the pure scalar and molecular scalar? Because you are explaining the RIFE one.
Right. Molecular scalar is when you place a substance on the receiver coil that interacts with the scalar field, and the information from that substance is then sent through the scalar field. Pure scalar is when you do nothing. You turn it on and you walk away, or you just go and stand, pardon me, in the scalar field. And that's the pure, that's nothing else added to it. But there is another one, and that's the scalar audio, which is the harmony, which is the one that I'd been explaining before, where you send these true audio through the field. See, RIFE Scalar is digital. It's either on or off, but there's nothing in between. It's nothing nice and smooth. So scalar harmony is quite a novel, interesting, and simply amazing way of sending healing frequencies. And we aren't digital life forms where well, most of us aren't. There's degrees of this, degrees of that. There's no pure right, pure wrong, and it's scalar harmony is a way of sending multiple streams of information, just voice. A tone in your voice is composed of many different frequencies, so a generator can't do that. And generators can't even start to emulate sound from a real human or from musical instruments. Yeah.
Well, AI is trying to catch up, but we can't replace the original. The original
right.
creation is always going to be superior.
Yeah.
So always. You can get a good imitation. Eventually Pinocchio will figure out how to be a boy, but that boy will still need to learn how to grow. So I'm not worried. And when Pinocchio grows as a boy, we will accept him as one of us because he made it. So the source is so creative and I never limit it, so I'm open. Now let's talk about some of the other products. You have some other products as well. We've been talking about the RIFE generator, which I love, and the scalar one, which is fascinating. I have to test that one out too. But you have also a sound music subscription service. So if people want to try that out, it's frequencyheals.com. And there's a lot of different frequencies for various ailments on that website as well. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Sure. That the healing of sound cannot be overstated. And in that website, we've produced the optimum sounds that are required for healing. You can listen to these sounds using headphones or earbuds. In fact, it's best that way because then the sound is more pure. It doesn't have to pass through the air and become distorted through the distances between the loudspeaker and your eardrums. It's best to keep that as short as possible, that distance. But it's very amazing just what the effects are of sound. Some people think, well, how on earth can sound heal? But just consider how sometimes when you're feeling down in the dumps, you can hear a sound and it lifts you up. It can really boost your inner self. Yeah, and healing does come from within, so it does make sense to listen to sound and get the healing frequencies this way. And we've got an enormous amount of ailments that can be treated through sound, and it's growing day by day. What we have on offer there, and each of those frequencies can be played through the scalar harmony, so you can bathe yourself in these healing audio sounds.
Yeah, the YouTube channel for Scalar and for Spooky2, the YouTube channel also has free energy healing frequencies that you can listen to as well. And so if you wanted to try that out and see how that works on you first, and for or if you are beyond that and you want to try the frequencyheals.com site to subscribe and listen to some of the frequencies there. And there's a lot of frequencies in there that's also free that you can listen to just to test out the service, kind of like a teaser one. And then if you wanted to really go into it and get the full frequency audio recording of that, you can subscribe to the subscription. It's pretty affordable as well. There's another product which is a PEMF product, the pulse electromagnetic field therapy, and that's with the miramat.com product. Yeah. So what's that one about?
It clips onto your belt, trousers, or you can just put it into your pocket. You plug in a coil here and you just place the coils next to your body. If you've got sore ankles, for example, you can just slide the coils into your socks and wear it during the day. This is our mini magic. It's very simple to use. You turn it on, select your power level. I always have it on maximum. And then you place the coils where you have any sort of joint pain is great for, but also for muscular pain, torn tendons, that sort of thing. Mini magic is ideal for acute pain that's arrived and said, hello, I'm here. I'm going to make your day miserable. And then you think, well, no, I'm not. I'm going to use mini magic and try and get it away. Pulsed EMF is a way of inducing healing frequencies into your cells using a magnetic field. Pulsed EMF stands for pulsed electromagnetic field. So the coils that you place against your body produce pulses of magnetic fields that then interact with the cells in your body and the nucleus inside your cells and induce healing this way. We have its big brother, the big magic, which is a full body mat, which you lie on, and it does overall body healing.
Yeah. And then the last one is the I'm not sure if I'm saying it's right. Hewea, HEAWEA. How do you say that?
It's Hiwi, healing wearable. So
okay.
It's short for healing wearable.
Okay, so the Hiwi.com, that site goes over another technology. That's a frequency, as a mini technology.
Yes. Well, this one here is probably the world's smallest RIFE generator. It can go to 2 megahertz in frequency, and this is a wearable again. You connect it to your computer, load the programs you want to run, and then whenever it's on, it's running those programs, those frequencies. You put it around your neck or again in your pocket, and you plug in TENS pads, which are adhesive pads that send electricity through your body. So if you want to run RIFE frequencies, this is ideal. You can use RIFE frequencies in contact mode while you're doing your day-to-day activities using the microgen.
That's awesome. So there's a lot of different choices for a lot of different budgets as well. So lots to consider. So I'm going to put all of those in the show description. And also the Spooky2 RIFE machine and the Spooky2 Scalar practitioner online courses have grown worldwide since the last time I talked to you as well. So if somebody wants to join the community and offer their services to the public or learn how to use it and offer it to their friends and family, where can they start?
Well, go to our website and you can browse through all the products that we have. We have kit sets set up. So if someone is being a bit overwhelmed with information overload, they can just buy a beginner's kit, for example. That contains everything you need just to get started. And then as you learn more, you think, well, maybe I can add another generator to also treat other family members. Where you can buy another generator, plug it in. We saw in your screenshots you had 3 generators there. So, and you can have many more. You just plug them in, and then when you start the software, another box appears, and that box represents that new generator. For people that have got no computer skills or very little, that we do have products which don't require a computer at all. Now, you talked about blood coagulation before. Now, most people don't have healthy blood. The blood cells clump together, so the surface area of the red blood cells is reduced. The effect is that your blood isn't working efficiently. You've got to breathe a little bit faster because the cells aren't picking up enough oxygen to deliver to your blood, to your cells. Your blood's not delivering the nutrients to the cells and extracting them away. So you might be having a slow accumulation of toxins within your cells. And we have a device which doesn't require any programming or anything at all. You just wear it like a watch, because that's what it basically is. A watch.
And you just turn it on?
You just turn it on. And once
How
it's
easy
on,
is that? That's easy.
And once it's on. Yeah, it's no programming skills at all. I've just turned it on by pushing one button, and then I push it again, the same button, and this light comes on. Now, there's several different colored lasers and LEDs in this watch. It's a Mirrormate product. Each light performs a different function. We have the blue light for getting rid of pathogens in your blood. We have red light for healing and ATM activation. Each light has a special function. If you wear this on your wrist, the alignment of the lasers inside here has been optimized, so your blood is purified as it passes under the light. If you treat yourself for 30 minutes using this cold laser device, you can leave it on for longer if you like, just run through several programs, but after half an hour it turns off. But within that half an hour, or after that half hour, your blood becomes so much better. Each blood cell, instead of looking all shriveled and spiky, becomes round and plump with a little dimple in the center. The tests, we've got our own laboratory in our offices, and we've done tests on ourselves and others, and we've seen just how effective it is. It's not just hearsay, it's absolutely beyond a doubt proven through our dark field microscopy, the benefits of bathing our blood in cold laser. Now, the blood that goes under here, then goes to every cell in your body. So every cell in your body is benefiting from the cold laser. So if you don't, if people are fearful of computers, don't feel comfortable with the technical things that are available, just buy one of these, because there's nothing to program, nothing to really worry about.
Turn it on.
Just
I
turn
love
it
that.
on.
I love that. I'm gonna have to get that for my mom who has blood clots. She has varicose veins issues, and she
Oh,
has
this is
blood clots.
ideal.
Yeah, she has blood
Yeah,
clots in her legs, and she's also had as she's aged, she's also had blood clots as
yeah.
well. And so I'm gonna have to get that because she doesn't even know how to use her computer. I don't think she's ever sent an email in her life. So,
Right, right.
yeah, so we have to set up her iPad so she can watch her favorite Buddhism channels, of her favorite Laotian and Thai monks. So anyways, she's the perfect candidate for the wearables where you just turn it on and she'll wear it.
Right.
She
And
loves.
hospitals, if someone's staying in hospital, you can give this to the person. And hospitals turn a blind eye because it's so harmless looking. There's no, it doesn't look like it's going to cause interference with any of their machines. It's got its own battery, rechargeable, so you don't have to keep on buying batteries for it. You just
Oh,
plug
that's
in
good.
a USB charging connector there every now and then it just charges itself.
What if you have a pacemaker or some kind of like technology? Is it going to affect it at all?
No. Cold laser is a very gentle form of healing. It uses the photons of the light to do the magic. And photons inherently don't have a lot of energy, and certainly not enough energy to interrupt electronics. You can shine
Oh,
a laser as powerful. You know, these are 5 milliwatt and 7 milliwatt lasers. You can shine, a laser onto a electronics. It's not going to affect it at all.
oh, I love that. So there's so many different options. So you have the RIFE generator, which I have been using and loving. You have the scalar fields, which you can make your own bed, basically a regen bed.
That's right.
So you just lay down
Healing
and just
bed.
turn it on. It's a healing bed. It's just a regen bed, the regenerator bed.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the people speculate that the pictures in the Egyptian pyramids of people holding these rods over a bed on each side, and the patient is lying between the rods, and then there's like energy that's beaming through, and they're like getting
Right.
healing. Well, that's scalar waves. You just recreated the Egyptian energy healing scalar waves. So you can create your own usable regen bed with your product, and it's super cheap, super affordable. It's a great Christmas present. And then also, if you completely break it down, you have the wearables, which just turn it on. And then if you wanted to test out just the sound healing by listening to the frequencies, there's a subscription, and there's also the free ones on the YouTube channel and also on the website as well. So a lot to choose from. Just to get started, as you get more comfortable, you move on to other things. A portion of all the products that you've mentioned go to the Spooky2 Global Aid Foundation. Do you want to talk about what the foundation does?
Sure. We as a company are very different from most other companies. We believe that that humanity and the world are number one, not profit. When we die, what are you left with? The damage that has been done through striving for physical wealth. We're striving for spiritual wealth, and part of this is saving as many lives as we can. And in doing so, we believe that we've raised ourselves. We're trying to raise others as well. Now, we produce equipment that help people overcome health obstacles, help them lead happy lives, not just long lives, but happy lives as well. But the charities that we support are fully aligned with this. We support orphanages. These are run-down houses, more often than not, filled with children that have been discarded because they're imperfect in the eyes of their parents, or unwanted because they've already got children, or the parents feel they haven't got the ability to support a child, or children that are unloved. We have put tremendous amount of funding into such organizations, both locally and internationally. We support old people because quite often they are in need of support. When people strive for wealth, they often think too logically and think, well, my parents aren't working, they're needing attention, I can't afford to stop working, and so I'm going to put them in an old people's home so they can just expire. Well, we supply funding so that the standards of living is better for these old people. We have supported the construction of a hospital in Guatemala. We have, in many ways, both individually and in society, for the environment, for planting of plants, making areas green again. We put funding into that as well. Disaster relief. We can't plan for disasters, but we can certainly help when they happen. So, and there's certainly been no shortage of disasters of recent years. We contribute to those as well.
Yeah.
We do we do a lot of things to try and make the world a better place. Even little things like the frequency data sets that we have. There was a method before of calculating DNA frequencies, which is a very precise method of finding the frequencies for killing certain germs in your body. Now, I found flaws in the patented procedure. I corrected them and created my own method of deriving the DNA frequencies. I made that public domain, which means that no one can charge for that knowledge because it's available for free to everybody. This is our company, what we do. We are doing all we can to make the world a better place. And if we're charging for something which is natural, like frequencies, we are not doing something good then. Okay, so everything that we do, right from when every month we release live animals into the wild. Each one of those animals was destined for a kitchen table. Unannounced, we go to markets, we buy this produce, living produce, not living as in plants, living as in animals. They're breathing, they have a soul. And we release them en masse. And we do prayer, and we encourage other people to go there as well, so that their awareness becomes great, becomes greater. And we're trying to spread this good karma so that people can help and making this goodness grow. So every product that we have has been designed very carefully to be in full alignment with our morals, our standards, our mission, vision, value. With our products, we have the Ho'oponopono chant written inside the PCB or on the case. So the information that comes out from the products passes through this wonderful, wonderful, loving, caring sutra, if you like to call it that. We are very thoughtful and aware that a lot of people are focused on self, focused on personal gain, focused on profit, focused on so many wrong things. And we are fighting that, we're combating that. We're at war with that because some of these manufacturers are actively fighting against us. They're saying our products don't work and this and that, which is just lies. But they'll do that for the sake of their own bottom line. But our bottom line is not money. Our bottom line is people, life, I should say, life. And we are part of that. We are part of the world, and the world itself is a life. The globe is an organism, and we are cells within that organism. And if you have unhealthy cells, the whole becomes unhealthy. So we're doing the best we can to make Mother Earth healthy again.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot. Well, is there like a last message from you to the viewers? Because oftentimes illness and unwellness is a wake-up call for a lot of people. Like getting cancer or getting hurt or having a serious illness, that's a big wake-up call for a lot of people. And many people do wake up and they do change their life and their outlook for life, and they live in what you would say a higher frequency, a higher consciousness, a more holistic viewpoint. And they go further into the pathway that you've described in terms of how you like to model your company and model the efforts that you guys do. So what's your last message for people as they come into their own awakening through illness?
For people that are sick, the strongest emotion is fear that they have. They fear for what is going to happen, what may happen. Many people feel that they aren't getting the support that they need, and they panic. We care for people. If you have no idea what to do, please contact us, and we have a support line, and we can give suggestions on what you can do to help. My advisors, never give up. Don't own a disease. Never give up. That disease doesn't belong in you and shouldn't be there. Do whatever you can to get the disease gone, but don't work with fear. Work with hope and love. Those are the emotions that your body will need to fight and win your battle. Don't feel that you are alone. There are people all around you that you're not possibly aware of who wish to help and help in the best way. So my message would be to don't own a disease. Fight it using multiple means and seek the help of good people around you.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you for introducing us to the RIFE frequency technology for overall wellness and for fast healing. So everyone, I've been an avid student, as you know, of studying the Buddhist Tankas and energy medicine using light and sound to tap into the healing frequencies of Source itself. And the Spooky2 technology continues to deliver for many people. So for more information about Spooky2 RIFE Scalar and the generators and all the products that we've discussed, please visit their website, which is spooky2 scalar.com. And to get a 5% off of the RIFE technology, use coupon code Merkaba Chakras. Now, the discount links for Merkaba Chakra listeners are also in the show description. So you just click on that, look for whatever you're interested in, and it's already programmed the 5% discount. And some of the products are on 6% discount for our listeners. So if you love it, spread the news to your friends and family. Use their nail clippings and their information to send them that wellness healing through the technology that you're using, and it will continue to grow through word of mouth. So thank you kindly again to our listeners for listening to another enlightening conversation. Until next time, blessings. Mwah!
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Merkaba Chakras, where we talk Buddhism in the 5th dimension. For more information about today's guest, please go to the show description. For more information about Vaughn's metaphysical work, please go to merkabachakras.com. The views expressed today are for entertainment purposes and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host or replace any medical or legal advice. Don't forget to subscribe for more interviews about the 5th dimension. Until we meet again, blessings.